Hi friends, welcome to day 16 of our watercolor tip a day series for World Watercolor Month. Today we're going to be playing with salt textures in our watercolor. I'm going to start by using only one color. I'm going to just swatch on some Payne's Gray. I'm keeping the color consistent to really show how the salt itself changes the look. I did vary the opacity and the amount of water slightly in different areas because salt reacts best under different conditions, and that's something that I recommend right off the bat. Experiment, try different colors, paper dampness, salt types, because it all changes the final effect. So let's start with some Epsom salt. I love using this one because it creates these beautiful soft blooms. You'll notice right away that it starts reacting as soon as it touches the wet paint. It pushes the pigment out in these really organic crystalline ways. It almost looks like ice crystals forming. Next up, I use some chunky sea salt. So this is just like not ground. This is the kind you'd maybe use for cooking, and the granules are big and irregular, and the effect reflects that. So you'll get these bold textured edges and more dramatic pigment moving. It's one of the more noticeable salt effects, especially on wetter washes. So I'm not really putting these on in any sort of type of way. I'm just dropping them down, and I'm trying to put some in places that are darker and some in lighter. But we'll see once it's dry. But you can see there how much that pushed it away. It looks so cool. Next up, we have flaky salt. My sister has this grinder, and it makes the salt really flaky and good. So we're just going to ground that up, and then we'll see what that does. And this is just how you experiment and have fun with it. I would say that these sit a little bit more delicately on the surface and create lighter and more dispersed bursts in the paint. You might notice that the pigment doesn't move as far away right away, so we'll see as it dries how it really reacts. And if you're noticing that your salt and paint aren't reacting at all, don't get upset. Just try it on a different paint color, or try to change or vary the amount of paint that you're using with water to paint ratio. Next up, we have table salt. This is the finest grain and also the most subtle in terms of texture. So this works best when the paper is just starting to dry. If it's too wet, it dissolves right in. So here it was a little bit too wet on top, so you can see it's not really doing much. But I'm going to put it more on the bottom where it is a little bit more dry, and we'll see how that really reacts. But when the timing is right, it gives these really, really delicate snowy effects. You'll notice that depending on how much water I used and how diluted the paint was, the salt reacted a little differently in each section, even though I used the same color, and that's really part of the fun. I have a few tips if you plan on trying this. So first of all, let it dry completely before brushing the salt off, because if you don't, you're going to smudge the effect. Next, use a heavier watercolor paper so it doesn't buckle too much with all that water. I'm just using 140-pound cold press. Next, try layering. Once it's dry, you can go back in with another wash or even more salt, and you'll get such cool effects. This is great, great, great for backgrounds. You can even make some snowy, really cool landscapes with this effect. And I always recommend that you swatch first, especially if you're working on a final piece, because as you can see, different salts and pigments behave really unpredictably, which is kind of the magic of it. Let me know in the comments which salt gave you your favorite effect, and if you've tried anything different like Himalayan pink sea salt or any other do-it-yourself alternatives, because I'm always looking for some fun ways to experiment. If you found this helpful or inspiring, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of the daily tips this month. Tomorrow we're trying alcohol on watercolor, another unpredictable texture technique that you have to see. Thanks for being here, and I will see you tomorrow.